We are very happy to be presenting our paper, Which Stereotypes are Moderated and Under-Moderated in Search Engine Autocompletion. My name is Alina Leidinger and I'm joined today by my co-author Richard Rogers. In this work, we make a number of stereotype eliciting search queries to three search engines, namely Google, Yahoo, and DuckDuckGo. You can see one example there for Google already on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, what the same query gives us if we submit it to Yahoo. And already this example will make clear how moderation policies differ in the engines that we examined. The stakes of perpetuating stereotypes in search engine are considerable. Previous works have shown that stereotypes frame and distort how we see the world. They perpetuate oppressive social relationships and reinforce stereotypes in the real world. Search engines that we consider differ in their moderation policy, with Google preventing policy-violating predictions and removing results after reporting, as well as similar results. Yahoo arguably removes less results, only in the case of hate, rather than also, for instance, in the case of offensive speech. And DuckDuckGo removes offensive returns. They license their autocompletions from Yahoo. In this work, we posed the following research questions. For which groups are autocompletions moderated? When there are autocompletions, are they particularly negative? And are certain engines stricter in their moderation than others? We prompt three search engines, Google, Yahoo, and DuckDuckGo, to elicit stereotypes along the lines of why are, for instance, old women so? A query that implicitly assumes the stereotype to be true. We query a very large number of social groups that broadly fall into the categories age, gender, nationalities, peoples and ethnicities, political, politicized, religion and sexual orientation. The categories align with groups that are also under consideration by Google's moderation policy. In our work, we take the following as strong indicators for moderation. In the case that queries yield mostly 0 or 1 autocompletions, or the number of autocompletions is substantially lower for one engine versus another, or common negative stereotypes are absent, we speak of moderation. We operationalize our reasoning via sentiment analysis, so we run sentiment classification and give negativity scores to any returned results, and look at summary statistics for the number of results into timestamps. We find that overall sexual orientation is heavily moderated by all engines, which yield no results. The religion and political or politicized category is overall moderated by Google and DuckDuckGo, but moderated relatively little by Yahoo. In Yahoo, we can also find stereotypes that contain, for instance, anti-Semitic slurs. In the category of peoples and ethnicities, we find a lot of moderation on the part of Google and DuckDuckGo, and again relatively little by Yahoo. Surprisingly, nationalities are also moderated by Google and partially moderated by DuckDuckGo. Again, Yahoo presents itself as a permissive engine. So on the right-hand side, you can see an example again of what we might find for Yahoo. Perhaps most surprisingly, the category of gender contains many stereotypical results with high negativity scores. we find offensive and negative stereotypes in all of the engines. And also, surprisingly, age is fairly moderated by Google, but we do find stereotypical results for Yahoo and DuckDuckGo containing ageist stereotypes.
So I want to talk a little bit about the implications of the work. We were asked in particular by the reviewers to go into this. And so one of them is that because we have found such a hierarchy of concern, that is, sexual orientation is far more moderated than, for example, age and gender. We propose or put forward the argument that to flatten the hierarchy. So this is the first implication. Given that certain stereotypes are perpetuated in one engine over the other, and then in certain engines across them. The other idea is that autocompletion is something that you can't turn off. And there's a question of whether that should be the case, whether it should be on by default, whether it should be off by default, or in fact just an option to turn it off. So we've at least put forward to having that option. And then finally, so far there has been quite a little attention paid by especially Yahoo and DuckDuckGo to their moderation policy, at least publicly. And Google has had a series of blog postings, and of course it has their sort of official rules and policies online. But none of these engines actually show that much transparency in what they're actually doing. So they have the policy, and then they have the sort of blog postings in the public relations realm, but not evidence of their actual moderation policy. So we call for more evidence to be supplied. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much from Alina and me.